there, but I wanted to give this one to you in person today and just update you on what's going on with the land. We are under contract on 17 acres of land on Ustick Road near the intersection of Ustick and Canada, and right now we're in the due diligence process where we have an agreement to purchase the land, but we're doing all the checking to make sure that it's going to work to build a building there. And that has been progressing. It has been going well. And there's a couple things we're still waiting for, like the lot split to be approved, but we have every reason that it will. And hopefully by the end of the summer, we will have closed and we will officially own that 17 acres of land, which is a great provision of God. Probably the main thing that we've learned in this process is we won't be getting a conditional use permit or CUP for the property by the end of closing like we had maybe hoped, but we think that's ultimately going to be a good thing. Getting that use permit was really all about getting a plan for septic and well approved. But as we've learned that area, we think that the wiser strategy, instead of investing in something that we wouldn't want to use long-term, is going to be wait for the utilities to come. And as we've learned more about that community where this property is, it's going to be a great place to have a church long-term. And development there really is on the launching pad, just ready to explode in these next few years. So we have a lot of confidence that development is coming to that area in a way that will meet the needs of our church. But to be realistic, it probably is a few years out of us actually being able to build the building. So that raises a question, very fair question. Okay, what are we going to do between now and then? Well, it just so happens that the good hand of God has generously provided for our church. And that as early as next month, this summer, God has provided a 33,000 square foot facility that our church would be able to utilize full time for the sake of ministry. So that means we're not always reliant on renting here, there, and everywhere, but we would have a home as a church that we could fully utilize. And while it may not be all that we would think and want for the long term, it is a generous provision for God, and we will benefit in so many ways from having a 24/7 facility. Now, you may be asking the question like Nicodemus asked Jesus, how can these things be? How is this possible? Well, many of you are familiar with the church, The Pursuit ladies. Many of you were just there yesterday. They approached us just last week. Their leadership came to us and said basically that they were not planning to continue on as a church, but were looking to be absorbed by a bigger church. They basically came to us and said, hey, this building that you guys have used a lot, would you be interested in having it full-time to utilize it for the sake of the gospel and the ministry to the Church of Jesus Christ? That's right. That wasn't a very hard question for us to answer. Yes, we would like to faithfully use this space. So even just as you consider another congregation that is involved in this, I'm just so thankful for their generosity. They've been generous to our church for a long time now in allowing us to use their space. I'm so thankful for their kingdom-mindedness in really thinking, hey, we don't want to see this space just gobbled up by a bank or sold off to somebody else. We want to see a church in here using this space for the kingdom of God. What a beautiful thing that is, and what a generous thing to us as a church. And so be praying for their congregation, and even I'm thinking for many people in their congregation, their next thought is going to be, okay, I'm going to check out Compass Bible Church. So be on the lookout and be ready to roll out the red carpet and to welcome and to show the love of Christ to these people as they consider joining our congregation. And in the meantime, please just continue praying. As I said, they just came to us just last week. So there's still some details that we're thinking out, and we'll have to think through the logistics of transferring a lot of our ministry there, and we're confident we're going to be able to do that. But just pray for just continued wisdom with that. Pray for their congregation, and continue to pray for those details. There's going to be a lot more information to come, exact dates. There's going to be opportunities to serve. I'm sure there's going to be some church, work days to get the facility ready ready for us to utilize. And also there's going to be some opportunities to be generous, to meet whatever needs may arise in this situation as well. But I hope this is a day that we remember for a long time as a church and just the faithfulness of God to us. And there's two things I hope that you take from this, and it doesn't just become, okay, this is a cool thing, but no, this is teaching me things that apply to my life every day. And one of those things is the power of prayer. All that we see God doing, I am convinced it's a direct answer to God answering the prayers of his people. We've been praying a long time for this. If you ever come to our boiler room prayer meeting on Sunday mornings, every week we've been praying for this, and God has generously answered those prayers. And I hope that encourages you to pray and to pray persistently and to lift your needs up to God. And the other thing that I hope this just enforces in all of our mind is that beautiful, familiar principle, Matthew 6:33, but seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. Ultimately, God has called us as a church, God has called you as an individual to be faithful, to seek him, to pursue God, to pursue righteousness. That's what we need to focus on doing, and we will trust God will provide what we need when we need it. So you can believe that for our church, and whatever you face this week, remember that principle as well.